welcome back to Umoja254's channel. Before you do anything, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have monthly videos, we often post twice a month, and we just want to share with you Kenyan based content. And yes, today's video is going to be a bit of an educational one. I'm going to talk about university, in particular things to consider before you pick a university, in particular if you are looking to study abroad. Before I begin the video, I thought I'd share a bit about myself first. My name is Sandra. I am 24 years old. I graduated uni a year and a bit ago. I studied BSc Psychology. It was a 3-year degree and I studied in the UK. In particular, I studied in London at City University. I really enjoyed my degree. I learned a lot. I came as an international student. After I finished uni, I went into work. I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I basically was just applying for all sorts of jobs. Anyway, I ended up applying for this job working at a university, just doing course inquiries with international students. I ended up getting the job, and I worked for a year in the international office in a very kind of entry-level position. I learned a lot about universities, how universities work. That kind of added to my knowledge about international students, which I already had being an international student. And then after a year of that, I kind of decided that international recruitment was something that I basically wanted to work in. So then I applied for another job at a different London university as an enrollment officer. So I work closely with international students, helping them to actually, from the point of application to the point that they come and enroll in person. So I kind of wanted to share with you some really important things to think about before you, as an international student, decide that you want to study abroad, away from your country, in a whole new environment. If you're looking to study abroad, you need to look at the entry criteria, whether they accept your qualifications. Your qualifications might not be the match for the country that you want to go into. For example, in Kenya, if you have done just KCSE, and then you would have to do a foundation because your qualification is not considered high enough to start straight into first year, or maybe even a HND or the national diploma, back in Kenya before you decide you want to go to the UK, for example. But you also need to look at whether your qualifications meet the entry criteria in terms of what grades you have. Because if you have really amazing grades, you probably get into a really good high-ranking university. If your grades are a bit on the lower side, you might still get into a really good university, but the rankings might be a bit lower. So depending on the university you're going to, you need to look at the entry criteria to see if your academic capabilities can actually meet that. Rankings of a university are important. I would advise when you are applying to a university, you have a look at the rankings of some of the unis you're interested in going to. So that is quite important. However, again, rankings are not everything. To be honest with you, a lot of employers don't tend to look at the rankings of your university as long as it's a recognized university. So in addition to ranking, there's things you should definitely look out for. Student satisfaction. So a university might be very well ranked, but students are not happy with the programs, they're not happy with the student support, they're not happy with the campus. So I definitely advise for your course, for your university, look at the student satisfaction rates. There's a lot of surveys out there. I know for the UK you've got the National Student Survey, where a lot of mid-range / lower ranking universities have amazing scores, and you would actually end up having a really amazing university experience. So don't just focus on rankings, also focus on student satisfaction, what alumni have to say about it, and what current students have to say about it too. Another thing you should probably be looking at is the fees of the universities that you're looking to go into. The amount of money you can afford to spend on education will ultimately determine the kind of institution you're going to. Countries like the US, the UK, the fees tend to be quite pricey compared to the prices back home. If you're looking for cheaper alternatives, there is other countries which also do equally amazing accredited degrees. There's Malaysia, there's some universities in India as well, and some universities in Europe which are actually free. The only issue is that the degree might not be taught in English. And then again, different universities have different fees within the countries. So if you're super set on going to a specific country but you can't afford the fees of one particular university, look at other university. Mid-range to lower range universities tend to be cheaper for international students, while really high-ranking universities tend to be ridiculously expensive. Next, on the topic of money, scholarships. If you are looking to get some sort of funding or you're looking to get some sort of fee reduction, I definitely advise that you look at scholarships. A lot of universities, pretty much all universities, offer some sort of scholarship to students. I definitely advise that you apply for these scholarships. Some are automatic. When you apply, you get assessed, and a lot of them you have to make a separate application. So it's quite doable to get some sort of partial scholarship. It might not be a lot, but it is achievable to get a partial scholarship. However, getting a fully funded scholarship can be quite difficult, and it takes a lot of hard work. You have to have really, really excellent grades. You have to have a really good overall academic and personal kind of well-rounded background. If you don't have the best marks, you're very likely not going to get a fully funded scholarship, but I always say try. Next thing to look at, the visa requirements for the country you're looking to study in. It's harder to get visas in certain countries than others for different reasons. It might be that the immigration rules are stricter, or they might have requirements which you don't meet. For example, in the UK, part of the visa requirement is that you are able to show enough that you can afford to fund your studies. So they usually ask you to be able to show your full tuition fee plus living costs for 9 months in your bank account for a certain amount of time. So you need to look at these visa requirements to find out whether you can actually meet them before you invest your money, your time in these programs. Next thing I'd advise you to look at is the accreditation of the program that you're looking to do. One, do you need it to be accredited in order for you to get a job after? If you do, then it's really important that you look for a course that is accredited. This is because if you do a course that's not accredited, that usually has to be for you to get a job after, you might end up having to do an extra year of work just to get that qualification accredited. So I definitely advise you look at accreditations. Remember, not all programs need you to have an accreditation to be accepted onto that program. If you're also looking to study in that country after you finish your studies, research what is the likelihood of you being able to find a job after in that country. Is there any visa requirements or immigration stuff that kind of means that you have to leave as soon as you finish your studies? So definitely look into that. As much as rankings, fees, and all this other stuff is super important, there's other things you really should be looking at. 1. Living costs in the area that you are going to be studying in. For example, if you're living in London, rent is more expensive. Transport can be a bit pricey if you're not living on campus. So factors like this you need to think about. Look online for virtual tours. Look at the facilities. Is this a place you see yourself for 3 to 4 years or 1 year? However, do you see yourself in this place that long enough? I definitely advise look at the facilities, look online, search on that website and have a look at the facilities and see what's different about them. Another really important aspect to look at is how diverse that city, that town, that university is. As an international student, when you go to a whole different country, it can be really scary on its own, and it can be even scary when there's no one you see that you can relate to. For example, if there's no black people in that town, if there's no black people in that city, how do you feel about that? Is this something you're okay with? Personally, I like diversity. Also look at the student union. How involved is the student union in creating events for students, in helping you guys integrate? How good is a student union? Do you want a really active social life? Do you not? How good is a student union? You need to find this out. Those are all the things I can think of to share with you guys before you pick a university. If you have any questions at all or you need any advice, please leave Umoja254 a comment down below in the comment section and I will get back to you guys and will answer your questions. But if you are looking to study abroad, I would definitely advise it. I learned so much. Yeah. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to follow us on Snapchat, on our Instagram page as well. We are Umoja254 on all spaces. Bye!
And you're so in my head, and I'm trying not to lose my friend. Jumping off the friend zone.